5 Minutes Funnier is back.
Hi, and welcome to 5 Minutes Funnier, the comedy how-to. I am your host, Jimmy England, and here with more tips, tricks, and hacks to make you a better comedian. And as you can see, I am dressed in my tribute to Brian Wilson gear. Sorry to see him go. By the way, if you like the Beach Boys, a fantastic version of God Only Knows is on YouTube. Look under BBC Music, God Only Knows, and it's a tribute thing. Brian Wilson is in it. Highly recommended. However, that's not what I'm here to talk about today. This is going to be the final episode of this particular series. Whether there'll be more or not, I don't know. But then, of course, last time I said I didn't know, and here we are with, 17, 18, 19 new episodes in this particular season. My subject I was going to talk about was people who are using notes on stage at pay shows. And it's funny because this morning I just read a Facebook posting by a producer who does a lot of shows in Southern Ontario. He brings in good audiences, 80 to 100 people. It's not unusual. He pays well. And this is what he had to say. So let me just pull this up. Was on a show recently where the headliner was reading off her notes the entire set. This wasn't a free mic or anything. It was a popular and established monthly paid show. For the love of God, people, memorize your material, especially if you're the paid headliner. And I couldn't agree with them more. I was on a show not too long ago where there was about 6 comedians. We were all paid. It was a paid show. It was a really nice place. And half of them were working off of their phone or off of pieces of paper. And it's not that they didn't have funny material. They did, but if you can't present funny material to its best, then you're failing as a comedian. And in this instance, they were failing because it was not their best. And the crazy thing is, I think with one exception, all they were doing was looking at their phone in order to see what the next joke was going to be. They didn't have to do it word for word. They were just kind of looking for a cue, which is, to me, is nuts, because this is what I prepare when I'm doing a show. It's called a cue sheet. If you're up there and you're going to just be doing 5 minutes, you can make a list of maybe 15 points that'll cue you as to what the jokes are about. And then just memorize the list. It's not hard. Yet people continually go on stage with notes in their hand, with phones in their hand, and they don't understand what is happening with the audience. They're not really engaged. I've said this so many times in the past, and I know I'm getting very repetitious about this, but when you go on stage, you want to maintain eye contact with your audience. That is what I am doing with you right now. If I'm constantly looking around like this and I'm looking at my phone or I'm looking at my notes, I'm going to lose you really quickly. And the audience is the same way. They want to know that they are the focus of attention. So you want to be looking at your audience continually so they get that feeling from you. That allows you, if you know your material, to perform it to its max. Because we often talk about how funny the jokes are, but really a joke is only as funny as you can say it. When you can put the right emphasis in at the right place, put the pauses in at the right places, maybe do a little raised eyebrow periodically, when you can think about doing that stuff while you're saying the joke, you're going to be that much funnier. The joke is going to be that much funnier. It's just that simple. Now, I feel like a lot of the stuff we have done on this particular series has been somewhat repetitive. It's stuff I've talked about in the past, including what I'm talking about right now. But it just hit me as being very important because I ran across an issue with it, and then boom, this turns up this morning in my Facebook feed. So I think it's worth thinking about when you're out there. Professional comedians do not go on stage with their notes. They're going to be on for an hour. You do not see them wandering around looking at their phone repeatedly, looking at their notes repeatedly. They're on stage. They do the job. Now, I'm not saying a touring comedian is not going to go on stage with notes. It's going to happen. But it's rare that somebody goes up there. They know their material. All the times I have played with the bigger guns in comedy, in Canadian comedy, they come up, they know what they're going to talk about. They don't have anything written on their hand or written on their phone or written on a piece of paper. They get up there and they do their act because they know their act. It isn't new to them. So what you get is a much more polished performance. You do not see somebody who's getting on a Netflix special or being on a big auditorium stage with 12, 15, 2,000 people in the audience walking around looking at their bloody phone. It doesn't happen. And while someone might be able to make it work, chances are it won't be you. Because over and over and over again, I see this happening. And nobody is really progressing, the people that do that. If you want to move ahead, you have to act like a professional. And that is what you do from the writing that you do to the performing that you do. No notes on stage. Okay, I also don't think it's a good idea to do it at open mics, but I will cut you some slack and say if you need to do it at open mics, go ahead and do it. But by and large, learn your act before you step on that stage. It'll make for a better performance. It'll make you more attractive to other producers, to other venues. Now, as I say, this is the last episode in this series. It should be on our playlist for 5 Minutes Funnier. If you can find that, you can go right back to the beginning. A lot of stuff at the early episodes of the last series that very important. The first 20, I think. If you follow those, you'll make huge jumps if you're a starting comedian. And beyond that, I've tried to give you some of the things that are smaller but important when you are on stage so that you can be funnier. Because I really believe if we're all funnier, there's going to be more venues open up. There's going to be more people coming out. And we're going to be much more successful together as a result. It's about us as a community, about us all becoming better, more professional, and therefore more desirable for an audience to come and see. The better we are, the better it is for all of us. Stay funny, everybody.